Lesson 30. Review Lessons 19 to 27.
Welcome everyone. Today, unfortunately, is our last lesson. So we will review lessons 19 to 27. Let's learn some new vocabulary words first. Take a look at your screen. We learned the word recipe. The items you need for a recipe are called the ingredients. Next, a double-decker bus. A double-decker bus is a big bus with 2 floors. Next, the concierge. The concierge is a person in a hotel who helps the guests. She may help them find a restaurant or a museum. Okay, now let's begin with a quick review of the passive. First, some examples. Take a look. America was discovered by Columbus. That island was first settled by the Indians. Spanish food is loved by everyone, as Linda will tell us. American fast food is eaten by people everywhere. Okay, now remember, the passive is a verb or sentence which has as its subject the person or thing to which an action is being done. So it receives the action. Okay, let's look at some sentences that show us the difference between an active sentence and a passive sentence. Take a look. Active sentence. Columbus discovered America. Now in the passive sentence, the person receiving the action will now be the subject. So now, passive sentence, America was discovered by Columbus. Okay, now, the object in an active sentence becomes the subject in a passive sentence. So it gets turned around. In an active sentence, the focus is on the subject, but in a passive sentence, the focus is on the object. Okay, the form for all passive verbs is the verb to be plus the past participle. Okay, so be can be in any of its forms. So it can be am, is, are, was, or were. Okay, now by is used in some passive sentences, but it isn't always necessary to use by, only if it's necessary to know who is doing the action. Okay, please follow along on your screen. Simple present, the active sentence. For example, Norwegians eat a lot of fish. Passive sentence, a lot of fish is eaten by Norwegians. Okay, next example, simple past active. People grew rice more than 1,000 years ago. Passive sentence, rice was grown more than 1,000 years ago. Now, a transitive verb is a verb that is followed by an object, and only transitive verbs can be used in the passive. So if a sentence does not have a transitive verb or an object, it cannot be used in a passive sentence. Now, an intransitive verb is a verb that is not followed by an object. These verbs cannot be used in the passive. Some examples of these intransitive verbs are to come, to go, to rain, to sit, or to sleep. To come, to go, to rain, to sit, and to sleep. All right, now we're ready to practice. Linda, what is an island?
An island is a small piece of land in ocean or sea. An island is surrounded by water.
Great. Now your second sentence is in the passive. Sylvia, what language do they speak in Mexico?
They speak Spanish. Spanish is spoken by all the people.
Very good. Alberto, who discovered the Fountain of Youth?
Ponce de Leon discovered the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth was discovered by Ponce de Leon. I don't think he really found it. Did he?
No, he didn't. I would visit it if he did. Thank you, everyone. Now it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
The phonograph was invented by an American. The radio was invented by an Italian. Radioactivity was discovered by French scientists. Lacrosse was first played by the Indians.
Read and repeat.
Now, let's review some more. We will review some prepositions, we will review how to ask polite questions, and we will review indirect questions. First, let's look at some examples. Take the North Road to Naples. Do you know if the bus leaves from here? There are many hotels along the river. Would you help me find the schedule? Now, along, over, up, and down are prepositions used to show movement. Let's look at some examples. The boys walked up the street. Next, the girls walked down the street. The store is over that hill. The boys walked along the boardwalk. Okay, we can begin questions with would, could, can. These are ways to ask polite questions. And of course, you add please to make it even more polite. Let's look at some examples. Can you tell me where the bank is? Could you show me the way to the airport, please? Would you help me find the bus stop, please? These words can also be used to begin indirect questions. Take a look at these examples. Okay, a direct question. Where is the taxi station? Same question, but indirectly. Can you tell me where the taxi station is? Direct question. When does the train leave? Indirect question. Can you tell me when the train leaves, please? So we can also begin a question with, do you know if? Examples. Do you know if there is a bus station here? Do you know if the bus driver is Japanese? Okay, now we're ready to practice questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, we have a lot to review. I will ask Sylvia a question. Sylvia, you ask Linda a question. And then, of course, Linda, you ask Alberto a question. Okay, Sylvia, do you know if there are 2 airports in Sarajevo?
There is only one airport. It's south of the city.
Good. Now you ask Linda a question.
Okay. Linda, Can you tell me when the plane leaves for Ibiza?
I'm not sure. There are many planes. There's an airport. Alberto, would you help me find a metro station in Rome?
Of course, there are stations everywhere. The main station is east of the city.
All right, good job, everyone. Now, could you please look and listen?
Look and listen.
The bus stop is over that hill. You must go down the street to get to the taxi stop. The ticket booth is at the east end of the station. The train station is up those stairs.
Read and repeat.
Now it's time to review gerunds. First, of course, let's look at some examples. Exercising is good for stress. I enjoy working. Architects are good at designing buildings. The doctor is thinking about going to Alaska. So the gerund is the ing form of a verb, usually used as a noun. Okay, so you can have a verb plus a gerund. For example, the doctor is thinking about going to Alaska. The doctor is thinking about going to Alaska. Or you can have a preposition plus your gerund. Like in this sentence, architects are good at designing buildings. So here our preposition is at, followed by designing. Architects are good at designing buildings. Okay, or a gerund can be the subject of a sentence. Gerund as the subject. For example, our first sentence, exercising is good for stress. Okay? Exercising is good for stress, so your gerund as the subject. Okay, now we're ready to practice gerunds. Now, let's each say a sentence using a gerund, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Alberto, you go first.
Teaching is enjoyable for you.
Okay, teaching is enjoyable for you. Good, yes it is. Linda?
You're often excited about teaching.
Okay, you are often excited about teaching. Okay, great. Sylvia?
I hope you continue teaching.
I hope you continue teaching. Thank you, everyone. Good sentences. Now it is time for looking and listening.
Look and listen.
Policemen like helping people. Caring for patients is important for doctors. Inventors are interested in finding new things. The teacher began teaching his lesson.
Read and repeat.
Now let's review something else. Let's look at some examples first. Paul ate another apple. Sarah ate one apple. Leon is going to eat the other. So now, another means one more out of a group of similar items. The other means the last one in a group of similar items. Okay, we can use another in different ways. Look at these examples. Paul ate another apple. Paul ate another one. Paul ate another. Okay, we can also use the other in different ways. Look at these examples. Leon is going to eat the other. Leon is going to eat the other apple. Leon is going to eat the other one. All right, can we practice now? Linda, are you ready?
Of course.
All right, good. Now, Alberto, I have 2 oranges. Would you like one?
Yes, I would. You eat one, I will eat the other one.
Okay. Linda, what did you eat before class?
I ate a chocolate bar, then I ate another. Then I ate another chocolate bar. I was hungry.
Wow, well, I guess so. Okay, Linda, I have 2 cans of cola. Do you want one?
Yes, I'm thirsty. You drink one and I drink another one.
Okay, but I don't think you need any more sugar, Linda. Okay, now it's time for another look and listen.
Look and listen.
Jeff bought another book. Kevin bought the other book. Greg cooked another pie. Lonnie ate the other one.
Read and repeat.
Now, let's review. So, to, either, and neither. Here are some examples. Sue cooks and Tom does too. Sue cooks and so does Tom. Those 2 sentences have the same meaning. So the word order is your subject plus your auxiliary plus 2, or so plus your auxiliary verb plus your subject. Okay, take a look at these examples. Sue doesn't cook and Tom doesn't either. Sue doesn't cook and neither does Tom. Now, of course, these 2 sentences mean the same also. That word order is subject plus your auxiliary verb plus either, or neither plus the auxiliary verb plus the subject. Okay, a positive helping verb is used with neither. It has to be positive because neither is the same as not either. So it's already negative. Okay, now we're ready to practice. Alberto, what ingredients are in your mother's lasagna?
Her lasagna is like mine. She puts whole tomatoes in it, and I do too.
Sounds delicious, Alberto. What about your mother's chocolate cake, Linda?
She doesn't use bitter chocolate, neither do I.
Very good. Sylvia, how does your dad cook his meat?
He prefers to barbecue it, and so do I.
That's very good, everyone. Thank you. Now it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
John likes cucumbers, and so does Ted. I don't like to cook, and my father doesn't either. We love dessert, and Wendy does too. Larry can't make pizza, and neither can Fred.
Read and repeat.
Now, let's look at the difference between say and tell. First, we have some examples. I told John to answer the phone. I said, answer the phone. I told Ken to take a message. I said, take a message. So, with the verb tell, we always have to include the listener. So with the verb tell, you include the listener. Okay, when we use say, we don't have to refer to the listener. Okay, very important. Tell includes the listener. Say does not have to refer to the listener. We can include the person with say if we use a preposition. For example, I said to Jerry to take a message. We can also use ask in the beginning of a sentence. For example, ask Paula to call Mark. Okay, now we're ready to practice. I think this is easy for you, right?
Yes.
Of course, because you're such smart students. Let's discuss what we talked about this morning before the lesson. Linda, you go first.
I told Sylvia she should buy a new cell phone. Hers doesn't work well.
Okay, good. Alberto?
I said the same things. She needs a new one.
Okay, very good. Sylvia, what did you say?
I need money. Ask your friends if I can borrow some.
I'm sure they will be happy to loan you some money for a new cell phone. Okay, very good, everyone. Now I am telling you, it is time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Ask Alice for the phone book. Barb told the concierge she knew the manager's number. Melanie told her mother she knew the number. Rudy said he lost the number.
Read and repeat.
Now it's time to review tag questions and present perfect. Tag questions are questions that are added to the end of a question. Take a look at some examples. The museum is there, isn't it? Isn't it is the tag question. The art gallery doesn't open at 11 o'clock, does it? Let's go to the theater, shall we? She can buy the tickets, can't she? A helping verb is used in a tag question. So when the main verb is positive, the tag question is negative. In the same way, if the main verb is negative, your tag question is what, Sylvia?
It's positive.
Yes, good. Okay, when the question begins with let's, the tag question is shall we? Now let's practice. Alberto, let's go to the art gallery tonight, shall we?
I can't. I must study. Linda, you can go to the art gallery, can't you?
Yes, I can go. Sylvia, you didn't visit the War Museum, did you?
I will go with my brother soon.
Very good, everyone. Now let's review present perfect. Take a look at some sentences. The museum has opened. We have lived near the cinema for 10 years. The Arnold family has opened a new gallery. The musical hasn't finished yet. So the present perfect is used to express an activity that began at an unspecified time in the past. It began before now, and it has continued into the present. The activity may be repeated many times. The activity, sometimes you will see words such as already, yet, or just. These words are sometimes used with the present perfect. Okay, let's practice. Sylvia, when did you start going to the War Museum?
I have just started. It is very interesting.
Very good. Alberto, did you write a report on the new play at the theater?
No, I have not finished it. It's a long job.
Okay. Linda, have you been to the new musical?
Yes, I have already been to it. It was wonderful.
Good. Good job, everyone. Now we have had some practice, and it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Lyle has lived near the museum for 30 years. I haven't been to the cinema in a long time. Manny loved that film, didn't he? Let's go to the theater, shall we?
Read and repeat.
Now, let's review the difference between too much and too many. Have a look at some examples. There are too many buses here. Willie said there was too much noise on that train. We use too much and too many when there is more of something than is necessary. Okay, we use too much for non-count nouns. We use too many for count nouns. Now, let's practice. Linda, how is transportation in Barcelona?
It is not good. There are too many cars on the street.
Oh, okay, thank you. Alberto, what is it like to drive in Rome?
It is terrible. There is too much traffic.
Okay. What about Sarajevo, Sylvia?
It's not so bad. There isn't too much traffic. Maybe there are too many bicyclists and they are never careful.
Okay, thank you. And you never give too many bad answers. Now, let's quickly look at indirect questions. What's a review today? Let's have a look at some examples. Where is the bus station? Can you tell me where the bus station is? Who is the pilot? Could you tell me who the pilot is, please? So indirect questions can begin with can you, would you, could you, right? They come before a direct question. For example, where is the bus station? Is a direct question, right? But can you tell me where the bus station is the indirect question. All right, good job with your review of indirect questions. So, could you please look and listen?
Look and listen.
There are too many people waiting for tickets. There isn't too much pollution at this airport. Would you show me where the restrooms are, please? Andy had too many suitcases for the bus.
Read and repeat.
Now let's finish today's lesson with a review of past continuous. Let's look at these examples. The man was eating at the party. The woman was drinking at the festival. Jack and Ken were smoking cigars at the anniversary party. The doctor wasn't talking to the nurse at the office party. So the past continuous expresses an activity that was in progress at a certain point in the past or at the time of another action. Okay, so this is how we formulate past continuous. We have was or wasn't or were or weren't plus your ing verb, present participle. Now let's review time clauses. Take a look at some examples. He went to the party after he left work. He can go to the party when he finishes work. He finished his work before he went to the party. The party started while he was working. So remember, our time clauses are dependent clauses, so they need to be attached to a main clause. Here are some words that can start time clauses. Okay, time clauses can begin with before, after, until, or when. So if a sentence begins with a time clause, there must be a comma after the time clause. The verb form after a clause beginning with while, okay, should usually be in a continuous tense. So the time clause beginning with while is usually in a continuous tense. Okay, let's practice time clauses and past continuous together. Okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about the birthday party we had last week. Sylvia, what did you do when the party ended?
After the party ended, I went home.
Oh, okay. Linda, what did you do before the party?
I was at the bank when the party started.
Before the party started.
Yes, of course, before the party started.
Okay. Alberto, what were you doing while I was preparing for the party?
I was studying my lessons while you were preparing for the party.
Thank you, everyone. Now, let's do some exercises using the present perfect. So each of you tell us a sentence about your country using the present perfect. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Sylvia, you start.
I have finished my essay on sports in Bosnia.
Very good. Alberto?
My mother has cooked Italian food every day for 20 years.
I love Italian food. And Linda?
Many Spanish people haven't tried to quit smoking. Many people smoke in Spain.
Okay, thank you. Now, let's review lesson 20 with an exercise. Let's ask each other questions using what we learned. Sylvia, you go first.
Okay. Linda, do you know if there are green taxis in Seville?
I think there are many taxis in Seville. They use green taxis in the north side of the city.
Fine. Okay, now Linda asks Sylvia a question.
Okay. Sylvia, could you tell me why people are so friendly in Bosnia?
I don't know. We are born that way. Alberto, do you know how much a taxi is in Sicily?
I'm not sure. I think they are less expensive than in Rome.
Very good. Thank you. This time we will fill in the blanks. Now we want to use either another or the other. Okay? All right, the first one is for Alberto. I drank 1 tea. Alberto, can I have? Please.
I drank 1 tea. Can I have another one?
Okay. I drank 1 tea. Can I have another, please? Good. Now, Mike has 2 balls. He is playing with 1. Jill asks, can I play with ball? Okay, this one's for you, Linda.
Okay. Can I play with the other ball?
Good. So Jill asks, can I play with the other ball? Because Mike has 2 balls and he's playing with 1. Okay, good answer. I love to read books. Do you have book for me to read? Sylvia.
Do you have another book for me to read?
Okay. Do you have another book for me to read? Good. Now, let's practice with so, to, either, or neither. So Sylvia, you give us 2 sentences using so and to.
Okay.
Linda, you give us 2 sentences using neither.
Okay.
And Alberto, you do 2 sentences using either. Okay, Sylvia.
I like macaroni and my brother does too. I like macaroni and so does my brother.
Very good. Sylvia said, I like macaroni and my brother does too. I like macaroni and so does my brother. They mean the same. Good. Alberto?
Okay. I don't like that recipe, and my father doesn't either. Rita doesn't eat French food, and Mary doesn't either.
Very good. Alberto said, I don't like that recipe and my father doesn't either. Rita doesn't eat French food, and Marie doesn't either. Very good. Linda?
I don't eat ice cream, neither does Frank. My aunt can't cook liver, and neither can my grandmother.
Okay, good. Linda said, I don't eat ice cream, and neither does Frank. My aunt can't cook liver, and neither can my grandmother. Very creative sentences, Linda. Good. Okay, it's time to review gerunds. So we talked about gerunds used in 3 different ways. Sylvia, you give us 2 sentences using a gerund as a subject
Okay.
and describe a plumber.
Okay.
Alberto, you give us 2 sentences using a verb plus a gerund
Okay.
and describe a farmer. And Linda, you do 2 sentences using a preposition and a gerund, and you describe a taxi driver.
Okay.
Okay. But don't worry, you're all so creative. Sylvia,
Fixing sinks is a plumber's job. Having a toolbox is important for a plumber.
very good. Fixing sinks is a plumber's job. Having a toolbox is important for a plumber. Very good. Alberto?
A farmer enjoys working in his field. A farmer always thinking about milking his cows.
Okay, a farmer enjoys working in his field. A farmer is always thinking about milking his cows. All right, good. Linda?
A taxi driver is good at driving, and a taxi driver should be interested in chatting with customers.
Okay. A taxi driver is good at driving, and a taxi driver should be interested in chatting with customers. Very good. Again, creative sentences. Okay, let's do an exercise reviewing say and tell. So this one should be easy. Just fill in the blanks and use say or tell. Okay, the first one, Craig, to take a message next time. Sylvia,
Tell Craig to take a message next time.
good. We have the listener present, so tell Craig to take a message next time, used as a command. Okay, Linda, please, something to Andy. He's been on the phone for 2 hours.
Please say something to Andy.
Good. Please say something to Andy. Okay. Alberto, the teacher, to be quiet.
Okay. The teacher said to be quiet.
The teacher said to be quiet. Very good. All right, now it's time for an exercise using tag questions. You're going to fill in the blanks again, this time with a tag question. Let's go to the museum. How about Alberto?
Let's go to the museum, shall we?
Very good. Let's go to the museum, shall we? Sylvia, Patty wasn't at the art gallery.
Patty wasn't at the art gallery, was she?
Very good. Patty wasn't at the art gallery, was she? Okay, Linda, we can go to the musical.
We can go to the musical, can't we?
Very good. We can go to the musical, can't we? Very nice, thank you. Now, another exercise with the present perfect. So let's pretend there is an opening tonight for a big musical. Let's each give a complaint using the present perfect. Okay?
Okay.
Are you ready to complain?
Yes.
Alberto, what is your complaint?
The ticket office has not opened yet.
Okay, the ticket office has not opened yet. Very good complaint. Sylvia?
The janitors haven't cleaned the restrooms.
Oh la la, the janitors haven't cleaned the restrooms. Good. Linda?
I have left my coat in the lobby.
Uh-oh, I have left my coat in the lobby. Okay, good sentences, everyone. Now, this exercise is with time clauses. So give us a time clause for each sentence and use the past continuous when necessary. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is another fill in the blanks. The celebration started at 9 o'clock, Alberto. Jane finished work at 8:45. So Jane could go to the party. Alberto?
Jenny could go to the party after she finished work.
Jane could go to the party after she finished work. Okay, this one's for Linda. My mother bought a birthday cake.
Okay, before the party started, my mother bought a birthday cake.
Okay, good. Before the party started, my mother bought a birthday cake. Sylvia, last but not least. The groom was dancing with his mother. Sylvia?
While the bride was dancing with her father, the groom was dancing with his mother.
Okay, good. While the bride was dancing with her father, the groom was dancing with his mother. Okay, I want to say thank you to you all. You have been excellent assistants. Bravo. Give yourselves an applause. Thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for you to listen and write.
Listen and write.
Now it's time to listen and write. So listen and write the sentences. Baseball was invented by Abner Doubleday. There were many trees along the sidewalk. Do you know if the train stops at this station? I will have another beer. Andy likes coffee, and so does Randy. Patricia doesn't cook, and neither does her sister. Jack Nicklaus is good at hitting a golf ball. Gary is going to the show, isn't he? Brian has lived near the theater for 12 years. I was asking for information when the concierge arrived. Now let's check your answers. Baseball was invented by Abner Doubleday. There were many trees along the sidewalk. Do you know if the train stops at this station? I will have another beer. Andy likes coffee, and so does Randy. Patricia doesn't cook, and neither does her sister. Jack Nicklaus is good at hitting a golf ball. Gary is going to the show, isn't he? Brian has lived near the theater for 12 years. I was asking for information when the concierge arrived. Now let's read the story and then answer the questions.
Read and answer.
All-Star Taxi is owned by Teresa Smith. She has owned the company for 23 years. Her office is easy to find. It's on the west side of town. She has 25 taxis. 24 of them are red. The other one is orange. Teresa doesn't like to drive, and neither does her husband, Chip. She likes to sit in her office, and so does Chip. Chip is retired, but he still enjoys talking with his wife. She always tells him about her business. Sailing is their favorite sport. They have sailed together since they got married. Sometimes Chip gets angry because Teresa has too many things to do. Before she goes to work, she always makes breakfast for Chip. After she leaves work, she stops and buys a newspaper for him. Last week, while Teresa was at work, Chip sailed all the way along the coast to the Big Island. Life is great for Chip, isn't it? Now let's answer the questions. What does Teresa own? How long has she owned the company? Where is her office? How many taxis does she have? Where do Teresa and Chip like to sit? What is their favorite sport? When does Chip get angry? What does Teresa always do before she goes to work? What does Teresa always do after work? Where did Chip sail to? Now let's check your answers. What does Teresa own? She owns All-Star Taxi. How long has she owned the company? She has owned the company for 23 years. Where is her office? Her office is on the west side of town. How many taxis does she have? She has 25 taxis. Where do Teresa and Chip like to sit? They like to sit in her office. What is their favorite sport? Sailing is their favorite sport. When does Chip get angry? Chip gets angry when Teresa has too many things to do. What does Teresa always do before she goes to work? She always makes breakfast for Chip. What does Teresa always do after work? She always buys a newspaper for Chip. Where did Chip sail to? Chip sailed to the Big Island. All right, very good job. That's all for this level, but keep studying English hard and good luck in the next level. See you. Bye-bye.